All right, it's February 2nd, 2022, and it's the Down Beach Buzz Real Estate Webcast with Sherry Lilienfeld of Apex Prime Realty. Wow, wasn't that plot of land next to Sapore, wasn't it sitting there for a long time? Now it's getting ready to be an eatery and a destination for entertainment.
And yes, it has been sitting a while. I can't explain it. I think it's great real estate, great location, but it's going to be fabulous when they're done developing it. So if you want to share with us what you know, that'd be awesome.
Well, I do know there's one downside to all this.
Okay.
The guy that mows the lawn is going to be incredibly upset that his job landscaper is going to be pissed off. So I just wanted to be honest with you about that.
Good point. You're right.
So they're going to, but you know what? It could be this. This is going to be, it's going to be called Ocean Draft. It still has to go through Atlantic County because it's a county road, Ventnor. So Atlantic County has to sign off on this, but the Ventnor Planning Board, they seem to have given it the blessing, but this is what Sapore wants to accomplish very, very soon. And that's an outdoor, indoor eatery with entertainment. Pretty spectacular, huh?
Very, very spectacular. We don't have to talk about how times have changed and people have wanted more outdoor space for meeting people and dining. And honestly, the areas, it's great. That's a good thing about the pandemic is that it brought more outdoor dining and people have wanted that here. So now we are able to get approvals to have these type of developments.
Well, just keep in mind, I think they have waived the parking requirement. So I don't think there's going to be zero parking. So that is the only bugaboo, I think, that kind of concerns some people.
Yes, and especially people who live near there. And parking, I will say, because my office is 2 blocks from there, parking is challenging over there now.
It seems like all the seashore locations, when they build, they kind of throw parking to the wind. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How about this place? Did you ever go to Domenico's right there on the corner in Ventnor, right next to Sack of Subs? My favorite place for subs.
I have been there, yes, and I enjoyed it.
And then I was disappointed that it closed and I could never get in there. But then I find out a few days ago, you know what they're going to put in there? Do you like Mexican?
I love Mexican food.
I found this online at the
Mr. Gordo's.
Yeah, the North Beach Ventnor Facebook page. I want to give them props, but that's what they put some kind of poster in the window that Mr. Gordo's is coming, a Mexican. How do you pronounce that? Taqueria, a taco joint.
I would just say taco joint,
something like that. And this, it's going to be very sad when, well, the old PNC Bank.
I know a lot of people, well, some people who kind of park there in the summer because they know no one's watching it. And when they need parking in that area, they'll park in there. So that's not going to be a possibility for them anymore. But it's prime real estate and there's a lot of great parking there for the business that's opening up there. So that's good. It's a great location. I'm glad to see it being developed.
So I was asking you a few moments ago before we went on the webcast that why all of a sudden these big plots of land and properties that really have been sitting for a few years, whether it's next to Sapore or it's right there at the PNC Bank. And let me just show you one more image. The Sunny Sunoco. This has finally been sold. And there's going to be 4 housing units here. What happened where all of a sudden 3 big giant real estate deals went down within a very short time? Why do you think that happened?
I honestly think a big part of it is that we are getting more people down here. Obviously, there's more demand for different types of things like housing. So this is going to be housing. The other one's going to be restaurant outdoor space. So there's more demand. So people are more willing to put their money to do these things. The local municipalities are being more cooperative in terms of granting variances, and we'll be going through that in a little bit. So it's again the old story of supply and demand. The place near Sapore, though, that was for sale for the longest time proposed to be a commercial space with condos above, 5 condos, 1, 2, or 3 commercial spaces with condos above. For whatever reason, no investor wanted to put that money there and invest that. I think part of it was retail was soft for a while. So no investor really wanted to put their money where they have to invest in retail space and then in condos above retail space. It's not an ideal place to live above a restaurant. So this idea is great, this outdoor space area. The other thing about this particular location is it did go for less than what they were asking for many years. And I do know the owner of Sapore was trying to buy it from the previous owner for a long time, and they wouldn't sell it. So finally, I think it's just, I have a great expression, time creates perspective.
And this closed for about 500,000, somewhere in that ballpark?
No, actually, it was listed for the longest time for $499. It actually closed at $375. That, at least that's what it shows. That's what it shows on the tax records. There could have been something else in there that we don't know about, but the tax records show that it transferred at $375. And
it
again,
sounds almost like a steal today, doesn't it?
Such a steal. Well, in my mind, but time creates perspective. The seller who was at $499 accepted $375 and the owner of Sapore was after him for many years to take his offer. So finally, they had a meeting of the minds.
It'll just energize that block. It's amazing how some of these anchor businesses can really just take that block and take it to the next level.
Absolutely, and it's going to help all the retail there. So you can imagine all these people coming there to wine and dine and listen to music. They have to walk up and down the street, especially with that limited parking we talked about. It's going to be great for the local retail stores there.
All right. And do you know what this is?
I have a clue. I know what it is. That's exciting. You want me to say it, or do you want to say it?
Well, I'm kind of happy to see it. I think it was really needed. It's the brand new Ventnor Lifeguard headquarters right there next to the pickleball courts and the tennis courts and the basketball court. Everything's
you had to get pickleball in there somehow.
And from what I understand, it's a little bit behind schedule, but they have some contingency plans. But we were in desperate need of a brand new lifeguard headquarters here in Ventnor. So that's still good. And then you have to deal with the DEP and CAFRA. It's not easy building stuff on a dune.
No, there's a lot of permitting that's involved. So state permitting.
What else we got? Speaking of construction for Ventnor and Margate, what do we got today? So you got some updated information, don't you?
Yeah, so we've been talking about this for a while. What's been going on with construction, new construction, renovations, variances. So finally, I have the statistics and numbers to back up what we've been seeing and talking about. Margate was kind enough, the building department was kind enough to supply me with this information. So we're looking at 2020 versus 2021 on a number of different variables. So the first thing are the demolition permits. And when you demolish a property, you're building a new property. We've been talking about the new construction and what's going on. So in 2020, there were 68 permits for demolition. 2021, 80. That's a 19% increase in demolition permits. Again, what we've been seeing. New construction permits, well, there's a shocker, right? That went up from 71 to 83, up 17%, pretty much in line with the demolition permits. Other thing that we're seeing are the renovations. The renovations, there were 589 permits, and now 2021, 755. That's up 28%. So
let me ask you this. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, despite the fact that construction costs are up, people are still renovating their homes. At what
point, what threshold when you want to do something to your house? At what point do you have to reach out to Roger McLarnon or the or City Hall to get a permit for renovation? What's that threshold?
Well, it's not like a number threshold. It's if, so for example, if you're just pulling out a bathroom vanity and replacing it, you don't need a permit because you're not really changing something in the home. You're upgrading and fixing it. A renovation permit is if you're adding something, adding a bathroom, adding extra space, adding a family area, adding a third floor, whatever it is, adding a deck where there wasn't a deck. The renovation permits are for when you are changing your home the way it is in a way that's different. And they like the I'll tell you why they like those renovation permits. And we'll get into this too, is because when you're adding a bathroom, your tax basis will change too. After they close out their permit, oh, surprise, your taxes go up because now your home is more valuable. So it sort of triggers, one thing triggers another. But
so if somebody builds a deck or they add a bathroom or a dormer, that would trigger the need for a permit, and then that would be assessed upwards in most cases?
Right. I mean, I'm not sure how much the deck they get, they reassess it. But I know, for example, my husband and I,
I'm sorry, who?
Zach.
Oh, your loving husband, Zach. Okay, I'm sorry.
My loving
Don't
husband.
need this husband thing. Come on. Give the guy some props.
So Zach and I, we actually had ripped the roof off of our home. This was in 2004. We ripped the roof off.
Did you date him because he was really good with his hands and construction and all that kind of stuff? Or was it his knowledge and his brains? Or was it his brawn?
I'm not getting into this.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I get a lot of emails. People want to know about what it's like personally behind the scenes with Sherry Lilienfeld of Apex Prime Realty, Lockport, Margate Realty, and Ventnor, apexprime.com. Reach out to Sherry. You'll love working with her. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Anyway, in 2004, we ripped the roof off our home. We added a whole third floor addition, a bathroom, a bedroom. I called it a play area back then. My kids were younger, a big area. And so when you add that, yes, our taxes went up because we had an extra bedroom, bathroom. We also had to go to zoning because of a setback issue. They also looked at the parking because, again, you're adding a bedroom. You have to make sure you have enough parking for that. So there's a lot of things that happen. But yes, the renovation permits will trigger, obviously, inspections. They have to be inspected, but then the tax people do get involved.
So assessments are not just based on square footage of living space. It also takes a look at, is it a bathroom? Is it a bedroom? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, and that's a good point, though. So, like when you're looking at, when a lot of people like to use Zillow and Trulia and their automated values of homes, those are computer programs. They don't take into account a lot of things like the condition of a home, when it was updated. So this is going to be my little pitch for why you want an experienced agent to work with you and not just come up with values, a value of your property based on some Zillow model. It's because it's a computer and it doesn't take into account a lot of things someone with experience in the market can give you. But anyway. Okay, so variances. I know, Mel, love to listen to these meetings and you hear these variance applications, third floor deck.
Don't make me feel uncomfortable because I'm one of the few people that watch municipal meetings. Come on. I mean, 3 hours of a planning board meeting.
Oh boy!
You know?
And you don't drink either. I don't know how you can do that.
But sometimes these meetings, most of the meetings, municipal meetings, are pretty boring. But every so often, all hell breaks loose, and I'm waiting for those times. You know?
What was the last thing that happened where all hell broke loose?
I think it's when somebody tries to put a 10-pound blah 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 into a 5-pound bag. They try to squeeze everything into a parcel. Hey, can I have no setback? Can I put a hot tub in
Yeah.
there? Can I put a pool in there? Can I put an
Yeah.
outdoor terrarium out?
Yeah.
They keep can I put a 10-foot fence around my property?
Yeah. They're really pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
For sure. So, but look at the statistics on the variance applications on the bottom.
I
2020,
bet I bet a
there were,
lot of those variance applications have to do, especially in Margate, for third floor decks, huh?
well, I didn't get into that detail. I just have big picture numbers. But in 2020, 35 variance applications, and in 2021, 63. That's an 80% increase. It's almost double for variance applications.
I'm going to
So,
guess a high percentage is third floor decks and less setback.
well, if you want, I could try to call the office and ask Jimmy what it is. So I don't know. You're the one that listens to all those
I would like
meetings.
to have Roger McLarnon be a guest on the Down Beach
Okay.
Buzz Apex Prime Real Estate podcast. I think he would like that.
It sounds like a great idea.
He's a smart guy. He works in lots of different markets, a lot of different towns. And even though I used to poke fun at him a little bit, the more I learned about what he has to go through, I have a greater appreciation for Roger, what he does with planning and zoning.
Well, I told you, and he's also very careful in how he responds to people. He's very political. He doesn't overstep and overpromise things that he can't deliver. But he's always very responsive to me when I've reached out to him. So
Yeah, when you have a limited amount of space on Absecon Island, they're
yeah,
not making any new space here. He
right.
has to figure out a way of making sure the current ordinances are followed. That's really his goal, is to let people know how to read a ordinance or a zoning law or rule.
Yes, he helps to interpret. He helps people understand it and interpret it.
So
But
what
yes,
about
there's a
wanna
lot
take
of people pushing the envelope, as we see. So yeah, Ventnor, very similar. Demolition permits 2020 to 2021, 15% increase. But we have for new construction permits, it actually went up 23%, which is interesting. Because again, I expect that to kind of track more closely. Renovation permits, a lot less than what we saw in Margate, but still up 19% from 2020 to 2021. And the variance applications are 36%. We tend to actually see Ventnor follow Margate a little bit. There might be a little time lag. So I'd be curious to see what happens next year.
You think they keep track of what type of variances are being asked for? I'm assuming they may or may not. Be interesting to know.
Yeah, I don't know if their computer system, because when they gave me these statistics, and again, I'm very appreciative that they were able to share this with me. When they track it in their computer system, I don't know what kind of detail they have in terms of type of variance, but it's more probably a conversation with the code enforcement, the building department, and they could probably tell you just from their experience what.
If I were to ask you to take a guess, what's the most common requested variance? What would it probably be?
My guess is building into a setback, because like you said, there's a small lot, small space. They're trying to get more space. So either building into a setback or having more livable area.
And frontage, when we talk about frontage, it used to be a bare minimum of 50 feet or 60 feet, and sometimes they let it slide down to 40. Do you recall what those numbers used to be? The frontage?
I don't know what the numbers are, but you're talking about, so you need what's called a conforming lot. The conforming lot has certain dimensions. So if the lot is not conforming, so instead of, maybe I'm just using rough numbers here. Let's say it's 50 by 100 when you're talking lot frontage, 50 feet wide by 100 feet deep. Wow, that would actually be super nice in this area if we saw lots like that. But that was a conforming lot, and a lot and someone wanted to buy a lot and it was only 47 feet by 100, they'd have to go for a variance. The variance would be to be able to build certain property on a non-conforming lot. So you have to go for a variance. So that would probably be an easy variance if what you're proposing to build met all other zoning requirements. You're just on a smaller lot, so you're going to have a smaller house, but you're going to meet every other setback requirement, height restrictions. So yeah, there's probably some of that. I can't tell you the actual numbers, though, of those variances. But again, based on what you and I have been talking about, seeing properties going down, new construction, lots of renovation, the activity in the zoning meetings, you said there's just a lot more activity there.
Yeah, Roger says every planning board meeting they got 7 or 8 variance requests, and some of them get tough, especially when you have to have curb cuts, all kinds of stuff that can't be easy. It can't be easy being a planning board person. Want to talk about some ratables? So what are ratables? That is what a monetary, a financial number we attach to the value of a parcel. Explain what a ratable is, if you can.
That's the assessed value of a property. So for Margate, the total ratables, meaning total assessed value of all properties in Margate, was 3.747 billion, 2020. Total assessed value. In 2021, it went up to 3.797 billion ratables. So what this means is from 2021 to 2020, the ratables went up to, and you have the next, the amount it went up.
Were you looking for something here?
Yes, you need to click on that slide.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
So it went up about 50 million, 49.8 million. That's how much the ratables in Margate went up from 2020 to 2021. I actually am expecting it to increase a lot more too in 2022, because you see all the new construction going on. And once those properties are completed and sold, that hits the ratables. So we're going to see those ratables go up more.
Ventnor ratables. What do we got here?
So Ventnor also went up from 2.06 billion to 2.1 billion, basically. So that percent change, you could just.
Oh, that's right. You got another little clicker here. Okay. So an extra.
All my fancy stuff going on with my PowerPoint, but you're in control.
26 million.
Yeah, well, basically 27 million. So even though the percent change looks small, it's still, if you look at an absolute number, it's 27 million of the ratables changing. And again, that translates to dollars based on the tax rate for Ventnor.
This is the kind of stuff that happens where a town like Ventnor can use all this fresh cash to upgrade their Ventnor Pier, or they can put a new band shell, a stage or performing stage behind the library, or build a new fire station or a lifeguard headquarters. Otherwise, they'd have to really go out to bond or borrow, and it could be risky. But now's the time to get all this, I call it infrastructure, get it all done.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It seems that way.
Yep. So everything we've been talking about and through previous webcasts, so now we have the numbers to verify what we've been seeing.
Okay. Oh, it's so disappointing when we get to the last slide, but we get to see the picture of you. And I know you want me to update the photograph, but you still are just, that smile is.
Oh, gosh.
The smile thing,
Okay, I'm always smiling. I am always smiling. That's me.
So Margate, Ventnor, and Longport, buy, sell, commercial properties, Sherry Lilienfeld. You can pretty much handle all of that, right?
I can, and I'm a numbers person, and I always say this, even if you're buying a home for personal use, you must always consider it an investment and make smart financial decisions, whatever you buy, even if it's a primary residence. So I am here to help people make good, sound financial decisions in their Jersey Shore investments.